But I was looking at this other thing. This is crazy. So I was so something we've never talked about on the podcast yet. But one of the things that we do for ourselves and for people who work with us, uh, going into this digital entrepreneurship world, is we help people to organize themselves as entities, right? Whether they're
Right.
whether they're LLCs or they're corporations, we help guide people towards what's right for them and the best way to do it. And one methodology that we use is to create limited liability companies in the state of Montana. Okay, we do that for a lot of purposes, but one of the purposes is if you're going to be acquiring multiple vehicles. Okay, it's a great way to minimize taxation. It's a great way to it's a great way to minimize ongoing costs because vehicle registration costs in Montana are significantly lower than other states.
Significantly.
But one issue that some of our friends have faced is the issue of financing. Okay, so a lot of folks out there who work with us have the luxury of paying upfront for vehicles, cash, right? No
Hmm.
financing, vehicles free and clear. Okay, but if you need to finance that vehicle, the question has arisen: what banks can I use to finance a vehicle using my Montana LLC?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had a couple of minutes today. I was researching that, and I saw something
Mm.
funny.
What'd you
I
see?
end up in a website talking about vehicle financing.
Uh huh.
Okay, except yeah, and this was a site that was encouraging registering vehicles in Montana, right?
Uh huh.
And they have requirements. What do you need to register a vehicle? And then they were showing a bunch of lists of things you need to do. And then, of course, one of these things is to establish an entity in Montana, which is specifically an LLC, and then
Hmm.
to get an EIN. And it's funny, on the website it says, "Don't have an EIN yet? Click the button now and get one. It only costs $50." Right? Now, I see Quentin smirking. Quentin, why are you smirking?
How much does it cost to do it yourself?
Well, you should know. How much does it cost to do
Free?
it yourself? It is free. You do not need to pay the IRS
To get
for
a
an
EIN.
employer identification number. It's free.
No.
And the IRS website specifically says EINs are free. Do not pay to get an EIN. It says that on the IRS website, right?
Hmm.
Here's what's crazy. So this company is encouraging people to establish LLCs and to get the EINs for banking purposes and finance purposes. And obviously they charge to help you establish an LLC, which I feel is legitimate, right? Not everybody wants to uh, do crazy research to figure it out themselves, right? So charging you to
Hmm.
do an LLC, that's not a big deal, okay? But charging for the EIN is. Okay, and the reason why I think it's a big deal is this: establishing an LLC, there's a lot of things you have to consider, and there's a lot of research that has to be done. Paying somebody to have that knowledge for you is one thing. Okay, they have acquired it over time, and you're paying for their knowledge. Okay, and then they help you go through the process. Now the EIN, that's a whole different story, because when you pay somebody to do your EIN,
Hmm.
you have to give them all the information. So, because what they're going to do is they're going to log on to the IRS website and enter your info for you. Could you have entered that info? So, how are you going to give it to them in the first place? Usually, you submit a document. They're going to ask you for information. You're going to have to type it in and send it to them, right? You could have as easily typed it into the IRS website instead of typing and give it to them, have them retype it again. Will it take
Hmm.
longer? Yes, it will take longer if they do it and you don't. It's just nuts. You're paying money for it to take longer, and you're still entering the same information there that you had to if you went straight to the website. And it's not
Hmm.
like so establishing an entity, whether it's a corporation, an LLC, that takes research. There's reasons why you want to do it certain ways, and you have to learn it all. Well, you don't have to. You can pay somebody to learn it for you, but it has to be learned. Okay, there's nuance. How many ways are there to get an EIN number?
One.
One,
Hmm.
right? Okay, and there's only like two instances where it's even qualified. You have to be an entity. You have to be an LLC, or you can't be a sole proprietor. I mean, like on the IRS website, it asks you these questions. Are you, and there's a bunch of bubbles, and you fill the right one in. It tells you if you can get one or not.
Yeah, I think I got it as a sole proprietor.
What's that?
I got mine as a sole proprietor.
You sure about that? Check it out.
Yeah.
EINs, no, as a sole proprietor, you're supposed to use your SS number.
I mean, I got an EIN.
No, let's double check. Hold on.
Mm.
Actually, it may be closed already. But let's see.
We can come back to that one.
Quentin,
But I definitely have an EIN.
IRS closes at 7 to 10 Eastern Standard Time.
So it
The
doesn't
IRS
even let you get
website.
into it?
No, you
Wait
can't.
a minute, the IRS website closes?
Yeah, because it's only open during live hours.
Oh, wow.
Wait, Quentin, look that up. I believe in order... Well, actually, yes, you can get an EIN as a... Yeah, you can, actually. But it's not good for credit purposes as a sole proprietor.
Oh, yeah, no. I definitely couldn't get credit with that. I couldn't start getting credit until we get this LLC situation. But as you were talking about with banks, until you brought up that Bank of America does not like Montana Montana LLCs, I didn't realize why I got denied. Because I got
For what?
denied by them.
For what?
I tried to get a business credit card
Well, no. I never said that. They do like... I have several through them.
through Bank of America.
Yes.
What
Finance.
were you saying the other day?
No. Okay, you misheard me. They don't like to finance vehicles.
They just don't like to finance the vehicles.
I have several Bank of America credit cards for my LLCs.
Oh,
All of them over $10,000 limits. Right off the bat. Right. Yeah, so they're fine with credit cards. They're fine with loans. They just don't like to do vehicles. Now, they will do a vehicle if it's a fleet is it a fleet? I believe it's a fleet purchase. Vehicles, so financing through them, the vehicles have to be over 2,500 pounds. So if you want to buy, so basically it's an equipment purchase. So if you want to buy like a heavy duty truck or like a dump truck or something over 2,500 pounds, I think Suburbans actually are heavy enough to qualify for that. So a real hardcore full size SUV, you'll be able to finance it for your LLC at B of A. Your Montana LLC, that is. Okay. But yeah, B of A just has issues with financing Montana vehicles, and and that's something I got secondhand. I've never experienced that myself. I've never tried. Okay, and the person, and you got to realize the bankers at these banks they sometimes say stuff without knowing the truth. So when they say, our friend was told that they just don't like financing Montana vehicle purchases because of the possibility that the person buying the vehicles is trying not to pay taxes. That probably is not the case. That's speculation on behalf of the representative. That's his, like, you've seen those disclaimers. It's like where like a radio show is on, like it's a syndicated radio show. And it's like, welcome to the Raylo McDaniel show. The views supported by this show are not necessarily supported by KLOS, right? There's a disclaimer saying the things that Raymond's saying the station doesn't believe in, right?
Right.
So that's the situation. These representatives in the bank are just throwing out their own opinions. That's not they may not know that that's why Bank of America is doing it or not. Because I'm sure that there's Bank of America branches in Montana that are financing vehicles being purchased by people. So I guess if you went to a B of A branch, if you opened up your actual account in Montana and talked to your banker on the phone, they would have no problem financing you for vehicles, even purchased out of state.
So you got to call the B of A in Montana.
I don't know. I've never done that before, but all I know is that, so there's excuses for why they won't do it. And one of the reasons why is the representatives probably don't even know how. Right? They encounter this thing. So I'll give you a funny scenario. There have been a few times, because you guys know that I was previously in wholesale lending.
Yeah.
Right. I've run across banks where I wanted to use loan programs in a certain way, and I was told that I couldn't. And I held meetings with them and specifically went through the guidelines and pointed out that there was nothing in there that said I couldn't. Right. So I had properties pass through for FHA programs that FHA lenders didn't even realize would qualify. Okay. You can know their programs better than they do. Perfect example, this house. This house was purchased using a program that is normally used for refinances only. And when I told the lenders I wanted to purchase this house using that specific program, they told me, no, it's not for purchases. This is for refis only. And I went through I said, no, it's like, it's not, look at the guidelines. It's really it's for financing of these specific kinds of residences. It doesn't say refinancing, it's financing. So it's either new money, it could be anything, it could be a purchase. And when I had to do several meetings and they agreed. It can be used to purchase these products. And obviously, so I'm sitting in one of the rooms right now.
Huh. They was probably just hating because they didn't think about it.
Yeah, it's like they never even had the question asked. Like no one's ever tried to buy one with that program before. It's like this program's usually used to pull money out of a house. And it's like you guys are buying one with it. Yeah, we are.
Yep. And how are you gonna stop? I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and they went there. Yeah, they had to do it. They had to do it. The reps at the banks hated me because I made them look stupid because they kept saying it couldn't be done, right? And then after it could be done, they had to put it through. They weren't cooperative. I mean, like they would drag their feet and everything I needed, but they had to do it. Eventually, I ended up interfacing directly with the underwriters because I was asking questions. Because since we were using it for that purpose, these reps in the banks had no idea about most of the requirements on purchases. They'd never dealt with them. Because it's an entire room full of guys who do refis. They've never done purchases. So all the requirements, they have no clue. They didn't know anything about it. So, yeah, so the bank reps don't know everything. Right? They mostly only know what's popular going through their... So programs that they use a lot, that's what they know. Seldom used programs, they do not. Right? So, yeah, that's why I wouldn't give that any credence. But, yeah, so that's what I point out. There's people out there who earn a living through businesses that essentially... I don't know if we should say they shouldn't exist or not. It's like, what was that thing? What was that show they were talking about? They called it like Slavery with More Steps. What was that?
That was a bit from Rick and Morty.
Yeah, it's a bit from Rick and Morty. Slavery with More Steps, right? Well,
yeah.
that's like
Slavery
a business
with extra steps.
Like think about it. Like getting an EIN through a third party is just more steps to the same thing with more money spent, right? You could just jump across the line. It's like having 5 brokers in a deal.
Yeah, that's true. Right? And then somebody knows your EIN number.
Well, yeah, and then somebody now knows your EIN number, right? That's more ways for they know more than that. What do you have to provide to get an EIN number?
The social?
Yeah. There's somebody out there who knows your social, who didn't have to know it.
Didn't have to know
so there's someone who knows your social, the address you're using, potentially. Right? Who knows why you're getting it, right? But but the social is involved every time. There's no way to escape that. They know your social and they know your EIN for that company. So they can steal your credit in 2 ways. they can steal your identity personally, and they can steal your identity as a company.
Right.
Why do you really want to go?
All that.
Yeah, there's no reason to risk that. And even if they don't steal it, ever heard the term data breach? Right, they're you're in some database for them, right?
Yeah.
And so they can have a data breach where somebody steals your data from them. All sorts of bad things can happen.
Man, it's just. I mean, I don't know because I've ran across those type of people. I never did it, but I always was like, man, that's an interesting business. Like, just go and be like, oh, I'll set up your EIN or I'll do this and charge somebody $1,000.
Yeah, charging $1,000 is something they could have done themselves. Now, I think it's perfectly okay if considerable research has to be done to do it, right? But thing is, if you walked into a bank trying to open up a business bank account, even the guy in the bank could tell you how to get an EIN number.
Uh-huh.
Right off the bat. Like, he may not be able to tell you how to get an LLC or how to get a corporation set up. Okay, because there's a lot of choices in those setups that have to be done. There's a lot of decisions that have to be made. Okay, he may not be able to do that, but he can definitely tell you how to get an EIN. Like, dude, just go to the IRS website, just type in Google, IRS space EIN, and it will actually pop. But the funny part is when you type that, the very first things that pop up are companies that are charging you for it. Okay, so even when you search IRS EIN, IRS is not the first thing that pops up. Somebody who wants to charge you $50 for an EIN is.
That's wild.
Because they're paying for it. You know, Google searches, all those browser searches, the first three results are sponsored results.
True.
There are people paying to be the first three.
I mean, I don't look at it as a scam. Do you look at that as scamming?
It's not. Well, I don't know. I mean, it kind of.
I don't look at taking advantage of somebody's ignorance as scamming. To me, I don't.
I mean, at
If
best,
you're stealing, I
at
get
best,
one
it's
thing.
at best it's a finesse,
It's a finesse. There you go.
right?
I respect a finesse.
Okay,
I don't respect scamming, but
I mean, in a way, it
I
is.
definitely
Okay, like
respect finesse.
so when people come to me, like for example, okay, what do I when I do a done for you? So there's multiple ways that people can work with us at DigEnet, right? You can do a DIY, a do it yourself, right?
Uh-huh.
You can do a done with you, and you could do a done for you. Like a DIY is when you purchase an instructional video,
Right.
right? Low price, and basically it walks you through the education. Basically, it takes you to all the steps you need to do without you having to search those steps out. Right? That's what it does, and it allows you to fill in those blanks in the steps yourself. Right? The done with you is a scenario where you have access to that kind of video, plus you have like a group coaching call. So you can watch the videos, and if you have any issues that you didn't understand, you can ask about it in the group coaching call. That's a done with you. Now, done for you is when all you do is you fill out a questionnaire, and then next thing you know, you've got an LLC, bank account, everything is just dumped on you, right? So it's a matter of time savings, right? But the thing is I tell everyone who I end up working with is that the information to do this is out there. If you want to invest your time, you can just, if you're good at searching, in a few hours of searching, you'll probably learn all this stuff. Right? If you're good at searching and you have a good analytical common sense mind. Okay? You can probably get this all figured out for yourself. You don't need me, right? You can literally, if you got time to kill, depends on who you are. It could take you longer time or less time, but you can have all this. You can find all yourself and save a significant amount of money. Okay. Whether it's setting up a company or building a website, right? We charge a fair amount to build a website, but you can definitely do it yourself at a much cheaper price, right?
Definitely can do it for a much cheaper price.
Now, depending on who you are, it could take quite a while.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no accounting for your previous experience and skill, right? If you have previous experience and skill, you can bang this out pretty quick. right? Especially if you're really good at understanding and comprehending instructions. If you don't, this could take a while. I've seen people take years to do it, trying to do it themselves. I've seen other people take months or weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
The shortest is like a few weeks, but that usually that they've done it one before.
Right.
Right.
Like me.
Yeah. If you haven't done one, even if you've done one before and you haven't done one in a while, you kind of have to relearn it as you do it again, right?
Yeah, true. The last website I did, like to do the last part as far as submitting it, that was a relearn. I had to use YouTube videos and all types of stuff.
Yeah, it's a bit of a refresher. You need to every time you do it, right?
Yeah, that's why you kind of have to just constantly do it. You know,
Yeah, constantly be
just do
doing
it
it.
for the sport.
But really, if you're gonna only do it once in your life or twice in your life, you should just pay somebody to do it because honestly, it'll take you too. Well, if you got the money, because it'll take you just too much time, right? So if you have that money, you're probably better off paying for it because the amount of time you save is worth more than the money you're spending, right? But if you want to make a business out of that, I mean, if you're gonna be doing it constantly, yeah, you should do it yourself. I mean, do it done with you the first time, so you help through it, and then do it yourself afterwards. Just keep, but it can be done. But the problem is this. This is what I'm finding, and tell me if you think this is a fair assessment, guys. As a race of creatures, okay, are we getting dumber?
Yes.
I think we are.
You want my honest one on that one, man?
Yeah. Are we getting dumber?
Yes. Yes.
We've
For the
gotten
simple
dumber.
fact that cell phone in your hand and you don't use it for the right purposes. And then some people, I even had a lady on the phone, mind you, I'll say that again, on the phone, asking, where is my cell phone? Dude,
What?
it's on your ear. It's on your ear. Talking
Wait,
on the phone, asking everybody, have you seen my cell phone? Have you seen my cell phone? You're on it.
was
It's on.
she referencing a different cell phone, or was she talking on the phone in
No,
her hand?
no. She was asking, has anybody seen her cell phone while she was talking on the phone? She
Yeah,
was
that's
asking
more
everybody
dumb.
in the office, have you seen
Wait,
my
is this
cell
somebody you
phone?
work with?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I think that person was having a moment.
It
That
could be. It
that's
could be.
that's a moment. But the reason why I ask is this, okay? Scams are rampant now, right? You guys know that.
Yes.
Scams are everywhere. And people are falling for them. Okay? Now, I
Some of the
understand the
scams are
concept.
kind of like some of these scams is a little bit they thought some of these out.
They did. They did. But
Yeah.
for the most part, okay, so are we all, have you guys ever heard, it's a controversial, super controversial book called The Bell Curve?
Yeah.
You've heard, have you
For the
ever read
bell
it?
curve.
I actually have a
Wait, I
copy
thought
here.
that was something they taught in school.
Not really. It's in
The
college.
grade curve.
College,
That's what you're
maybe.
thinking.
But
It
in,
was in college.
I have a copy here somewhere. Quentin, look it up, The Bell Curve. Who's the author? He's quite a famous academic.
I want to say I learned that in
Charles A. Murray
economics.
and
That's it,
Richard
Charles Murray. He's written a bunch.
Harrison.
He's written books in economics. Now, The Bell Curve. Is there a description of the book there, Quentin? Is there an abstract?
I got Wikipedia.
Read it to me.
The Bell Curve, Intelligence and Class Structure in American Life is a 1994 book by the psychologist Richard J. Herrenstein and the political scientist Charles Murray, in which the authors argue that human intelligence is substantially influenced by both inherited and environmental factors, and that there is a better predictor of many personal outcomes, including financial income, job performance, birth out of wedlock, and involvement in crime than is individuals' parental socioeconomic status. They also argue that those with high intelligence, the cognitive elite, are becoming separate from those of average and below average intelligence, and that this separation is a source of social division within the United States.
Okay, so this is not speculation. They're not saying what they think or what
They
they've
did
observed
studies.
by looking at crowds of people. They're
Mm.
using information from governmental testing. Okay, and now this is really controversial, for a few reasons. Some people find it controversial because they believe government testing has bias. Some people believe that. Okay.
I can see that.
Other people are just offended by the results. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm not going to go into what they found out, but basically they identified that basically all the different individual races of humans, like the ethnicities, have distinctly different intelligence levels. That
Oh, okay.
actual ethnicities of people are smarter than others when it comes to intelligence, IQ,
Yeah, I don't. I like. It's hard for me to believe that one.
right? But that's what government testing supports.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. That's why
And
I can kind of believe in like the bias.
well, but here's
I
the
mean,
thing though. But what's
mhm.
funny is this. What and now we all know that what's it called? I'm blanking on words today. What is something that they apply to a whole group of people? It's a like I'll give you an example. Like saying that all Asians can't drive.
Yeah,
Stereotypes. Okay,
that's super
stereotypes
stereotype.
exist for a reason. Okay, they may
Yeah,
not be. It usually exaggerates something that people have encountered over and over again, right?
true.
Okay, so like one stereotype is that all Asians are good at math. Have you ever heard that one? Asian people are good
I've
at
Yeah,
heard
math.
that one and I've experienced that one.
Yeah, and so it's
I've
true.
experienced both sides.
What's that?
I've experienced both sides.
What do you mean both sides?
Some aren't good at math.
Well, some of course, I mean individual people, yes, but based
Yeah, I've
on
experienced some dumb
yeah,
Asians.
but based on this, I mean there are remember that's what remember in the bell curve refers to the shape, right? It's a graph. It's a graph of
Mhm.
IQs, intelligence levels. On the so like the very so at the very far left end, the lowest at the lowest range. So okay, as you move to the right on the x-axis on this graph, you have intelligence, the IQs being larger. As you move up the
Mhm.
y, you have populations getting larger. Okay, so the number of people who are in the lowest level of IQ range in the far left is real low, and then it moves upwards as the IQ rises, and it peaks out. Okay, in the middle, and it comes back down, and so it's supported that the great majority of people fall somewhere in the middle, the
Mhm.
average area, average intelligence. Okay, there's a huge difference between average intelligence and low intelligence. Okay, and there's also a huge difference between average intelligence and high intelligence.
Mhm.
Okay, now what they've determined is that there are people from all races scattered throughout that spectrum.
Mhm.
Okay, but what they've found out is that they're not scattered evenly. More people from
True.
specific races fall into different parts of the spectrum. That's what they discovered. And so this is not speculation. This is what they actually found, right? That's why it's so controversial. Okay. People just are angered by, I mean, the information's out there, but when you put it together, it doesn't make a bunch of people happy.